r/AITA. In this video, we have an awesome selection of stories today, so please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Story 1. AITA for calling the cops on my dad's pregnant girlfriend or maybe wife. I, 17 male, live full-time with my mom. My dad was never even a part-time dad. He was a see you once or twice a year dad who didn't even devote that once or twice a year to me. Sometimes the only reason we saw each other is because my grandparents, his parents, included me in their lives. They both died a couple of years ago. I'm sorry for your loss, OP, and it's good that at least you could bond with part of his family, even though he wasn't really there for you. The last 2 times I saw my dad, he brought along his girlfriend, who I hadn't known about the first time, and her kids. The first time, I spent the weekend with them, and the second time, it was a day with them. The last time was 8 or 9 months ago. I told him I didn't want him to keep showing up, and he seemed totally eager to agree to that. I think that says a lot about the father here, that his son doesn't want to see him, and he is relieved about that. As soon as that happened, his girlfriend started seeking me out. We live in a small town, so it's not that hard. But she would make a point to cross over to speak to me, and she would ask me if I'd like to hang out more with her way younger kids. I say no, and I told her, though not exactly like this, that I didn't want contact with my dad anymore, so it didn't make sense for us to have contact with each other. She told me she'd like me to be a part of the family and to give it a shot now that her and the kids are around. I said I had my mind made up already. She'd keep seeking me out, trying to make me give them a chance. I tried to be nice, and I told her I just had no interest when my father made no effort to be near me. She even started approaching my mom, who after a few times got so annoyed, she told her to stay away from the two of us if she didn't want the cops and lawyers to get involved. OP has no obligation to this other family, and his dad's girlfriend is crossing his boundaries. If it's at this point where his mom had to get threatened to get lawyers involved and police, I'm already leaning towards OP's dad's girlfriend is the a-hole here. Then she showed up at my house a few times. She came to tell me that she was pregnant. She wanted to invite me to a big family lunch with her side and some relatives on his side. She came by to ask if I'd want to go to the park with her and her kids, and the kids would be standing there. One time, she told them I was her brother, and wouldn't it be cool to go to the park together? She usually left after being told to once or twice, but she kept coming back, so my mom got security cameras. She asked Mom another day if she could take me away for the day for something special, and Mom closed the door in her face. Using the kids as an emotional leverage to force OP to have a relationship with his half-siblings is messed up. Not even just trying to make OP have a relationship he doesn't want to have, but playing with her own children's feelings and emotions about this mysterious other brother they have to get what she wants as well is just really messed up. My mom talked to her lawyer and a cop she knows, and they told her to document and only call the cops if we clearly asked her to leave, and she won't, which is what happened on Saturday. I was home on my own, and she showed up with her kids looking for me to come over and spend the day with them. I told her no and asked her to leave, and I did it again more forcefully before I did end up calling the cops. When the cops showed up, she was arguing that she's my stepmom and she's married to my dad. Not sure if that's even true or not. And she has the right to show up at my home. Her kids were getting more upset the longer the whole thing dragged on, so they had to arrest her. This is very messed up. Showing up to a 17-year-old boy's house repeatedly to convince him to come home with you as a grown woman with no direct relation to him is creepy. Yeah, she might be dating or married to his father, but he doesn't really have a relationship with his father, and he doesn't want one. The father clearly doesn't want one with him, so I mean, it's kind of creepy, the level of obsession here, and should be treated this way. It should be treated as creepy. She's a grown woman repeatedly harassing a minor. That's what it is, if you really think about it. My dad got on my mom's case so hard about it, and she had to come home early and make sure I was okay and stuff. One of those times, you could hear his girlfriend/wife crying in the background about what I did to her and her kids, and she was so loud that I could hear her. He won't stop calling her, and she's recording stuff if we needed it. She checked it was okay first, but they're saying I'm an awful person to call the cops on a pregnant woman like that, and I should have just talked to her. So we had a pregnant lady in the last story, but she was not even close to this. She was maybe a little bit petty, but the mom in this story is crazy. OP's mom's fine, and like the dad's wife is crazy though. OP is not the a-hole here. His dad's girlfriend or wife it says a lot that they're so distant. He doesn't even know he doesn't know if it's his dad's girlfriend or his wife even. That says how distant they are, and he doesn't even know who she is. She's basically a stranger harassing him, and her actions in the story are very concerning. OP's dad's wife is the a-hole here, both for her constant harassment of OP, who is a minor, which makes it so much worse, and on top of that, she tried manipulating him with her kids to get what she wanted. She played with her kids' feelings and emotions to try to force OP into something he didn't want to do. She was using her own kids' feelings as leverage to make someone do something they don't want to do. Think about that. The dad's also an a-hole for basically abandoning his son here. I saw a comment suggesting that the reason the dad's girlfriend was so eager for OP to be a part of the family is to show her family that her husband isn't a deadbeat father, which, from everything that we've been told so far, like, obviously we don't know all the exact details, but he really sounds like one. Like, for all we know, it could be child support or something, but who knows? I wouldn't put it past the guy not to, based on what we know. OP, you have every right to refuse a relationship with them, and I really hope things work out for you, and I wish you the best, as well as your mother, who seems to be doing a good job protecting you from the context we're given here, like what we're told. And yeah, I just hope things work out for the best for you guys. If you like this content and want to support the channel, please be sure to like and subscribe, because your support means a lot to me. And on to story 2. AITA because I ruined my sister's vacation. This happened a while ago, but my sister, who likes to hold grudges for years, won't let up, so I want others' opinions. My wife and I went on vacation back in April to Florida for a week. While planning the trip, I mentioned it to my parents, and they wanted to tag along too. My wife was cool with it, and so was I, so I told them they could come with us. My dad, being the person he is, wanted to drive all of us instead of being in separate cars. We go to Florida, have a good time, and go home. Cool. I guess not to my sister, though. Apparently, she had already planned a trip to Florida for July, and my parents wanted to go with her too. The problem is she claims my wife and I ruined her trip because my parents went with me in April, and now she's saying that they can't afford to go with her in July. It sounds like no one knew about the sister's vacation plans in advance, so she really can't get mad since she said nothing until it was too late. It seems like a really simple solution. Why not try to make like one big family vacation with everybody, since we're already going to Florida anyways, so why not just include everyone? A big family vacation honestly sounds like a lot of fun too. Sorry if I sound winded in these videos, by the way. Like, I didn't realize like how much reading out loud tests your lungs, because like talking for so long I'm like forgetting to breathe air. So sorry if I sound a little weird during these. My parents are telling her they still have more than enough to go with her still, but she's adamant they don't have it and that everything is ruined now. My mother even told me she showed my sister a screenshot of her bank account for proof. Okay, so the parents clearly have enough to still go with them. I'm really not seeing a problem with what the sister's bringing up. Like, she's pulling problems out of thin air. I'm just not seeing the logic here. Our trip was 2 months before hers and had nothing to do with hers, as well as the fact that I didn't even know she had one planned because we don't really speak. Alright, so maybe there's like a strained family dynamic here. My parents are still willing to go with her, but she went ahead and canceled everything and is claiming we all ruined her vacation. Okay, so first of all, you're not the a-hole, OP. Your sister sounds like she is being really dramatic here. I'm not sure where OP is from, so if Florida is closer, it's especially not a big deal if the vacation is not as far away. because like both of you guys are going, so maybe it's like closer. But the way that Opie's family and his parents, like the way they say that Opie's family and their parents ruined their vacation is only true if she makes it that way by continuing to be mad about it. Something that isn't an issue. Like, she canceled the whole trip because the parents, like, went to Florida a few months before as well. I'm going to give Opie's sister a soft "you're the a-hole" because feelings are tough to say someone is an indefinite a-hole for, and I feel like this more feels like she's disappointed that her parents went on the same vacation. Like, maybe she wanted to surprise them with something, and Opie and his family already went with them. So maybe they're just disappointed they're going first, but I feel like she's being way too petty about this. She's not a huge a-hole here, just a little bit, a little dramatic, but best of luck to you, Opie. I hope things calm down for you and your family. But seriously, you should consider like a big family vacation. It sounds like the best compromise where like everyone's happy and has a good time. Family vacations sound like a lot of fun. Like big family vacations, like extended family and all that. I feel like that'd be really cool. Because then you always have people to hang out with too. Like, you have like a big group of people. Story 3. Okay, guys, so this last story is like an absolute whopper. Like, it's like the other stories have been pretty tame compared to this one, but this one is like a long story, and it has so much detail and drama that I think it's really interesting. So here we go. AITA for saying it's not my problem if my ex and her husband can't afford their kids. Alrighty, it seems like OP is in the right here as long as their kids aren't at all OPs and her kids and her husband is a stepdad. Like, so as long as, what I'm trying to say is, as long as the kids that they can't afford aren't also OPs, it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like, as long as that's not the case, alright. As long as it's that, I think he's in the right. Like, but let's see. I, 30 male, was married to I don't know how to Marin? It's Marin. Marin, 30 female. And we have a son together who's now 8. When Marin was pregnant, I found out she was cheating on me with James, 33 male. James had a girlfriend who was pregnant at the same time. When my son was born, we needed a DNA test to find out if I was the father or James was. As Marin's husband, I was the legal father, and that made it easier when the DNA results showed he was actually mine. Well, that's good at least. Obviously, depending on how you look at it, because me personally, I imagine you were really hoping it was yours and you got attached. Like, I imagine you were really hoping that the child was yours and you got really attached to the idea of being a father before you found out about the affair. But I don't know. Some people also may look at it as it ties you back to the person who caused you so much pain and betrayed you in one of the worst possible ways, because that's really awful. And I'm really sorry you had to deal with all of that. So there's 2 ways of looking at it, but either way, congratulations on becoming a father. Because she fought to name James his father, things were toxic. Yeah, definitely. That is so messed up. I'm so sorry you had to deal with all this emotional turmoil, and we're not even through the first paragraph yet. James was there for everything in the later pregnancy and the birth, and Marin told me nothing. Alright, keeping him in the dark, that's kind of messed up when there's a possibility it's his kid. Her parents were the ones who gave me info on when my son was born so I could file with the courts for a DNA test and custody, and our son's birth was also when our divorce could proceed. Okay, so props to the ex's parents here for at least being decent human beings and not keeping him in the dark on the pregnancy of his, on the pregnancy of his kid and the birth. I mean, that's really sad that he couldn't see the birth of his son, so yeah, I mean, I feel really bad for OP already, and I'm pretty sure the story gets worse. So, yeah, cutting him off and isolating him from his child, really messed up. James's ex ended up giving him custody of their daughter, and so they had her full time, and my son was 50% of the time, and a year and a half later, they had a daughter together. At this point, they have James's daughter and 4 children together, and I won custody of my son 3.5 years ago, because in order to force more money out of me, they wouldn't feed him enough and let him wear dirty old clothes. And I only paid child support because I earned more than Marin. But we had equal parenting time back then. So now Marin sees our son every other weekend. Okay, so this is messed up on so many levels. Depriving him of food is straight up abuse. Like, that's an 8-year-old. He needs to eat. Like, why? Like, that's just so awful. They're lucky that they get to see him at all anymore. Like, I'm surprised they even have, like, partial custody. And I am so glad you got basically full custody for both you and him. Children should never be used as props in a war between divorced parents, which in this case is one way, with the mother just basically going after OP after she betrayed him. Like, the mother in the story is just awful. I mean, don't get me wrong, the guy she cheated with is also awful, because together they basically broke up 2 marriages. Well, I guess it was James's girlfriend, but still. And they basically left both of their kids in, like, a really bad situation. Also, I really hope they at least treat the husband's kid well, because his kid didn't do anything wrong and doesn't deserve how your son was treated, either full-time or at all. Like, none of them deserve this. No kid deserves that. This makes them twice as bad, since they destroyed the lives of 4 people by cheating their 2 partners and their 2 kids. But anyways, back to the story. My son's in therapy to help him with all the mess he's witnessed and been part of in some way in his young life. Marin was also ordered to pay a small amount of child support, but she only paid a few times. She always uses the excuse that she can't afford it, and that might be true. I never push it because I can take care of my son without her. First of all, it's fantastic that OP's son is getting some therapy after all that to help him navigate all this. I imagine it's difficult for such a young especially for such a young kid to navigate all the things he's been through already. So I hope things get better for him. And it's awesome that OP is getting more money for his son after everything that has happened. OP has no obligation to care about these people not being able to afford things. I understand that for the kids it may not be that great, but these parents have already proven themselves toxic, so I wouldn't put lying about their financial issues above that. Like, I wouldn't put that above them. Or I wouldn't put that below them. Wait, I don't know which way we go, but anyways, OP owes him nothing, but maybe call CPS for the other kids. For the last 2-ish years, Marin has looked to me to buy extra school supplies and share them among the 2 school-age kids. So her stepdaughter and first daughter with James. I have always ignored those requests and sent my son with supplies and donated a few to his class as requested. I have never bought a single thing for the other children in my ex's household. As you shouldn't. The audacity and entitlement is crazy. Like, it's absolutely wild. She betrays you in the worst way possible, and she's begging you, like, she's telling you you should give her free stuff. Like, bro, get out of here. Like, oh my god. They have done so many awful things to you. Cheating, keeping you in the dark and making you miss your son's birth, and mistreating your son in an attempt to get more money out of you. All of those things you have every right to never forgive them for. The last you definitely shouldn't forgive them for, when they treat your child like that, you should never forgive them for something like that. 2 weeks ago, my son had a small surgery and Marin showed up. Marin brought up the school supplies issue and asked me to please be decent about this. Marin has not been decent throughout this entire story. Like, it sounds like she's talking like she has some moral high ground on OP, which she definitely doesn't. Like, she's an awful person, and I feel so bad for OP for having to keep her in his life and get some supplies for her girls because they can't afford them. Womp womp. Too bad. She told me they struggle to support their kids they have as it is, and their other kids suffer. Well, that's really awful that their kids suffer, but maybe they shouldn't have their kids. You know what I mean? Like, the way they treat Opie's son, maybe they shouldn't be parents. Maybe there could be a better home for these kids. I tried to move away from her, but she followed me to another table. So I told her, I don't care if she can't afford their other kids. I told her that her other children are not my responsibility and she needs to figure something else out. I told her she already denied our kid food to try to get more money out of me, and she lost most of her time with him as a result. And my priority was my child, not the kid she keeps having. I told her I would not discuss this with her again. And I haven't, but she has sent many messages through the co-parenting apps the courts have ordered us to use, where she calls me an a-hole and not a good dad to our kid. OP, I'm recommending documenting all of this. Based off of the first story, where obviously, compared to the dad, you are an incredible dad. You are way better than the dad in the other story. And another example from the first story, I think that the way the mom documented everything was smart. Maybe you get some sort of restraining order from her or something to protect you and your son. She is harassing you for money and is even doing it in person, especially at your child's surgery, begging for money. That's messed up. Given her past abuse of not feeding your son and putting him in dirty clothes to try to get more money and abuse the court system, maybe you could even get full custody, depending on what you think is right for him and yourself. Because maybe I know his mother has been awful throughout the story, but maybe you or the kid wants a relationship with his mother, so maybe that's best for you guys. I don't know. I feel like usually Reddit is too quick to jump to divorce and stuff and extremes, but I feel like this would be pretty justified. Anyways, my lawyer knows. He tells me to keep ignoring her, and for those who might wonder, this will not remove her visitation with him. Okay, well, that sucks, because honestly, maybe she shouldn't be able to visit him. She's abusing the court texting app. That just registered with me. She's abusing a court tool to basically harass OP with vulgar language. They gotta do something about that, man. It was difficult enough to get primary custody after her denying our son food to try and make us pay more. Unless my son is older and doesn't want to see her, or CPS removes the other kids, nothing will change. Revisitation. Okay, so with the CPS thing, I'm honestly surprised I haven't been called already. Child Protective Services is supposed to protect children. I don't know. I'm speechless. I'm baffled. It's actually ridiculous how hard it is for a man to get custody. I've heard the court system is very heavily biased towards the mother, but this is just extreme. But anyways, knowing all this, AITA. OP, you are not the a-hole in any way, shape, or form. You've demonstrated way more patience, strength, and character than most people probably would in this situation. If I did an a-hole score like the YouTuber r/, I'd give you negative a-holes. Your ex and her husband are both massive a-holes. Imagine the rating is out of 5. They'd get 8 out of 5 a-holes. They've done so many awful things. They treat their kids in a way that seems like abuse. I don't know. Calling abuse, I feel is it's a statement, right? It's an accusation. So I feel like maybe I should be careful how I word it. I'm not sure how much this may qualify and the severity of denying food. I don't know how much food they denied him. So I'm not quite sure on the exact details of that, but anyway, that alone makes them the a-holes, but they also cheated on you and basically broke up 2 different families with their own selfishness. Anyways, props to you, OP. I hope things get easier. That's all for AITA. I'm out.